Tuesday means we visit with Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm feeling like you. You know what's nice is to open up a week, the first week of the season, and run a message board that is not melting down because they've lost the opener for the sixth year in a row now. So we're both living large, Matt.
What has been
and we don't even play for the team.
I know. Well, when you make your life, when your livelihood involves covering the team, a lot of what you do revolves around the happiness surrounding their success and the misery around their defeat. So I'd prefer the happiness and the success, naturally. What about recruits? What were the recruits' reaction to the game Saturday night?
Well, I'm not sure if you know or you saw it, or if many saw it, but Lamar Brown, that Urge native 5-star, made the trip over to Clemson, watched it in person. And right when the game ended, I think he had the tweet ready, fired it off, and just said, "This is why you come to LSU." And look, you can go top to bottom here with guys we've caught up with that are major targets for him, Matt. Ahmad Hudson, who's going to be one of the best tight ends to come out of Louisiana in a long time, coming out of Ruston, talked it up in a big way, and he kind of said, look, and he's not committed to LSU right now, but I do think he ultimately will at some point. But he said, look, it was intense because even before I thought about playing college football, LSU was my favorite team, so I just watched them every weekend. Now I'm like one of their most coveted prospects, and I'm watching it, and I'm even more nervous. So he had a good quote and just said, Coach Kelly says, told him after the game, he's not playing around this season. So bold statement there. Easton Royal over at Brother Martin, who's going to be the best receiver in the state for next year, could be one of them this year, said that, hey, look, it just shows what Nuss can do when LSU can win big games. And he's talked so much about, the pitch from LSU being the wide receivers and the pedigree and the NFL development. And half of his quotes are about the defense. So I think so many of these kids, even on offense, said, boy, LSU looking kind of attractive now that they've got not the 130th defense, but one of the best. And a lot of quotes, I'd say, that came back to us were, Matt, where we found out who the real Death Valley was, and they just left it at that. So from commits to top targets, there was for the first time in 6 years, I got to receive messages back that were positive about LSU's win.
It is refreshing on many fronts. And obviously this will shape LSU's season as they're now a betting favorite to make the college football playoff, which, man, that'd be a fun run to make. We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital, to my own son being a patient now at that very Children's Hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain, at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Something that wasn't quite as fun is at the end of last week, 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys, the number one receiver in the country, decommitted from LSU. He flipped to Tennessee. Shea, how did this all go down?
Tennessee had been recruiting him heavily for just as long as LSU, and I'll print the shirts. It's my motto in recruiting: watch what they do, watch what they do, not what they say. And he said, "I'm committed to LSU. I'm firm." At the same time, he committed to LSU in March, and then he went on a wave of unofficial visits, and then he spent all of June on official visits to Tennessee, A&M, Miami, LSU. He was going to go to Bama and couldn't even fit it in. And then we hit that 2-month-long dead period, and I think Tennessee really ramped things up in a number of ways. He's got a high school deal with Adidas. That expires in December. I think that plays a small role in this one. And he's got some good relationships there, just like at LSU. And ultimately, I think that between conversations he had with his camp and those around him, that he felt like, all right, I can flip and Tennessee kind of drummed it up as, hey, look, we just got the highest ranked commitment in the history of the program at receiver. So they're throwing that pitch around as well. And it stings. You've lost the number one wide receiver in back-to-back years from border states. But let me give you the good news, Matt. LSU never lacks for receivers, and Louisiana produces more receivers than anybody. So they've got the two best receivers in the state already committed, and we'll see where they go from there.
Will they look to add a receiver to replace Keys in this class?
I think they do, Matt. Yeah, I can't give you the exact name because I think there's going to be a chance for them to watch these guys for about a month, 3 to 4 games as seniors, and then say, okay, let's make a move on this guy or that guy. But at the same time, which is no shocker, some of these guys on the team are getting older, and they're going to need to go into the portal. And, much like they have in recent years, they'll grab a guy or two who ends up being an impact player on the team. I mean, I think people forget Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas are probably your two best receivers this weekend. They're both transfers. You just presume that they're from Louisiana and that they were always here, and that wasn't the case. They went to other SEC schools. So I think they'll look for a high school receiver to add to this, but also then look back into the portal.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. I guess the other thing that's interesting about the Keys conversation is, Shea, as I was told, LSU had $1 million committed for Tristan Keys. So now that money, in theory, frees up. Any idea what they might try to do positionally, where they might try to address?
I think, look, we talked about flipping a quarterback, but they had already positioned themselves on that front, whether it was NIL, rev share, the pitch, all that. So you're covered there. But it does bring up something that got brought up this weekend, which was Bryce Underwood makes his debut, starts at Michigan. But the domino of when he left, a lot of that money, Matt, went into the portal guys. And what did they do in the portal? They got great players on both sides, but a lot of guys on defense who very clearly helped them out. So can you find that same sort of carryover silver lining in losing Keys? Sure. I think that now you have some more wiggle room to go out there and if it's not a high school guy, spend a little bit extra in the portal that maybe you weren't budgeting for before.
The Tigers will play their home opener this weekend with Louisiana Tech coming in. Finally, now that we've flipped the calendar to September, that 2-month-long dead period we talked about is finally lifted, and they can start recruiting again. What are we anticipating this weekend with the home opener and Tech coming in?
Yeah, I'll have a visitor list from the Bengal Tiger, and then we'll chat about that on Game Day Radio this weekend of who is confirmed to come in. But even though it's La Tech, and it's not some marquee SEC game like they will have coming up, what you mentioned, 2-month dead period, means nobody's been on campus since June, which is when summer camps were. Some kids not since the spring. So they're going to have a really big visitor list with the combination of guys who have committed over the past 6 months, and then some guys are still working on in this current class, which is only a handful, but then also looking ahead to 2027, this is when you start to build momentum. When you get into that new season, those guys are juniors. So barring guys having Saturday games, I haven't looked at all the high school schedule, but I would expect a lot of 2027 kids from Texas and LSU to be in for this one. I know that their invite list is a very, very big one.
He'll have that list over the visitor list over at On 3, the Bengal Tiger. When Shea? Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, we'll drop it Thursday. Sure, why not? Put a date on it. Let's say Thursday is when we'll drop it. But yes, I think your local commits, all of them will be there. Hey, Blaine Bradford will probably be there because Jacob Bradford will be playing. So you name it, Louisiana. I bet that player will be on campus.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Y'all get him at Shea Dixon. Always appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Always better after a win, Matt.
That is so true. Make sure you get Shea at Shea Dixon. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.